There's something wrong with you. Oh, please. Shame on you for saying that. Oh, my gosh.
Hey, what's going on, buddy?
Sir Allen.
Pete Bercich, we officially want to welcome back Sukup and Sukup Manufacturing. Sukup.com. Sukup Manufacturing is the world's largest family-owned and operated manufacturer of grain storage, drying, and handling equipment. And even though Sukup and Sukup.com may not start for a couple of weeks, big boss is in the building today, so let's push the envelope. Sukup Manufacturing, Sukup.com, bringing us Pete Bercich each and every Monday when the regular season begins. Manufacturing a win versus Green Bay would be a fine way to start the season. I haven't asked you this yet. What does the analyst think about the Green Bay Packers? And good morning.
Yes, good morning. I haven't really done a deep dive yet on the Packers. I haven't really looked into what they've done in the offseason. I don't recall a whole lot going on. I know that they've got some injuries, Micah Parsons in particular, that they're going to be waiting on. How much that's going to change what they do defensively will be interesting because his inclusion changed them to a four-man front. They used to be a 3-4 type of a scheme, and then once Parsons came in, they really changed things around. So that part of it will be very interesting to see, and then freshen up on what they're doing offensively, who's new and who's where. So haven't really done that deep dive yet.
Speaking of Michael Parsons, he analyzed the NFC North, and I found it on social media over the weekend. At the end of the Bercich segment, we're going to give Michael Parsons' thoughts on each NFC North team, and people will think it's kind of cool. Should the NFL have one preseason game, 2 joints, and added bye and an 18-game schedule? I mean, it actually may mean Minnesota plays from the first snow to the complete thaw to do that. But, I mean, there are just some rough-to-watch preseason games around the league. Maybe nothing to see here, right? What do you think?
The NFL's made their intentions clear that they want an 18th game and that every team plays one international game. That's what they want. Now, what they're willing to give up and change to get there, that's remained to be seen. Would it be one more preseason game? Probably. So 2 preseason games, 1 home, 1 away. You let your starters play in the first one. The second game, you kind of let the backups go. You throw in a combined practice somewhere in between. And the combined practice just isn't. I don't know if every team does one now. I have never done that or looked that up to see, because I know certain teams like the Bears are doing 2 sets of combined practices. Some places do it twice, and I'm assuming some maybe not even at all. So that would end up being cemented in as something that teams would have to do to get ready if you lose 1 extra preseason game.
How much do you find yourself thinking about Wentz McCarthy?
A little bit. It's an interesting situation. Unfortunately, Kyler Murray's the guy. Kyler Murray's the guy that we're going to see. So it's you want to have a backup. You need a backup. Instability at the backup position has bitten us 2 out of the last 3 years. So it's important. It's very, very important who that's going to be. You know what? To me, it's whoever it is. It is. I mean, I'm more interested and concerned right now about our starters in that group being ready to play against Green Bay.
Right.
The backup battle is fun to talk about. It's interesting to see you got a lot of equity in Kevin, in J.J. McCarthy, Carson Wentz. Yeah, I think he would have played even better last year had he had an entire training camp under his belt. So I think it was prudent for him to get out here. But as far as who's 2 and who's 3, we'll see.
Pete Bercich at Pete Bercich via X. Banks and Citrus, Banks and Dominic Orange, and their walk up to a season. We play a bunch of division teams that love to run the ball. I mean, that has some topic to it, doesn't it?
It does, and those guys have a lot. They still, they're improving, but they still have a long way to go. The training camp for our situation and for those two guys are what's important. I mean, if the Vikings are practicing in pads, those two guys need it more than probably anybody else on the field. Because again, you go back last year, Jonathan Allen, I believe, took around 55 to 60% of the snaps. So that's a lot of plays that need to be filled in for. Jalen Redmond, Levi Drake, Rodriguez, Ingram Dawkins, assuming he'll start at the other tackle. But Caleb Banks, Dominique Orange, and Elijah Williams or Taki Taimani, whoever that next line is going to play a lot. And, in that mishmash of bodies and people in the middle of the field, it doesn't take much to be inconsistent. It doesn't take much. All you need is one or two bad plays, and it could really change a team's running game. So the level with which they need to be, they haven't reached yet, but they're getting there, and the potential's there. And I've been very impressed with Dominique Orange. The transition that he's made from his technique and what he did at Iowa State to here so far has been pretty impressive. So Caleb Banks looks the part. His hustle is there. I'm impressed with how he chases people down. But there's still a lot that needs to be learned, and there's still a lot of technique. And Paul, we would have had probably 4 quarterback sacks in the first 2 series of that game had we just been able to keep contained. Keep the quarterback in the pocket, and you would have had at least 4 of them. So it's the discipline part of it. It's the awareness of knowing where the pressure's coming from and where to keep yourself and where your body's supposed to be. And, those guys will learn it over time. But unfortunately, that technique stuff is best learned and practiced when it's live football. And they'll get one more shot at it before it's Green Bay.
Hey, Pete, you mentioned him while you were talking about Banks and Big Citrus, Jalen Redmond. So last year kind of feels like found money, comes out of nowhere. He gets 6 sacks. Haven't really had a lot of conversation about Redmond because we just he's in the mix, right? And the rookies have dominated parts of just what we're viewing in terms of how this defense gets better. Like, what are you expecting from a Jalen Redmond who goes from, wow, this is a really cool bright spot, maybe out of injury and out of need, to now we really need Jalen Redmond to be that guy that we saw a year ago, maybe even better?
Yeah, I think Jalen Redmond is a perfect scheme fit for what they want to do here. And I'm expecting, and we need everything that he gave us last year and then some, because he's going to be getting more snaps than he did a year ago. So can he continue to produce at that level while taking more snaps? I mean, I think that's going to be the big question. And for him, I know he's hungry and he wants to, when the time comes, get that contract. So I think he'll be motivated, and then I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing what Jalen Redmond does this year. So he's a name that you definitely you haven't heard a lot from him in this preseason, right? But once the regular season hits, he's really, if you look at the group, he's really the guy, right? Of the interior defensive linemen, Jalen Redmond is really your number 1 guy right now.
Hey, let me continue to belabor the defensive front talker with this team, Pete. So Ty Ingram Dawkins, PA and I were talking about him last segment, only played less than a quarter of snaps last year, but now we're seeing him as an interior, a DN type guy playing some reps at outside linebacker as an edge. And just from your standpoint, what does that look like? Because I think about edges, it's all about, I want my guys to get to the QB, but maybe there's other functionality and utility with Ingram Dawkins being on the field and offering his skill set. What do you think about Ty on the edge?
I think he made a huge improvement from week 1 to week 2. And again, it's not that he can't do it. It's the vision, distance, and timing of the position. That things happen at a completely different pace, in a completely different way when you're on the edge trying to keep contained as compared to when you're a defensive tackle. His snaps at defensive tackle have all been very good. So he's got that down. Now they're asking him to be that. His role, I believe, will be to be that big body on the outside, kind of like a Jonathan Grenard, right? To be able to set the edge. If they want to block him with the tight end, forget about it. Not going to happen. If they want to pull somebody and kick him out, he's going to create a pile so big and destroy that thing that there's going to be nowhere to go. That physicality out on the edge is what I think they want out of Ingram Dawkins. And, the move, albeit, although it sounds simple, it's not. It's not very easy to play it at a level like Grenard or Van Ginkel does, or Dallas Turner's even doing it now. Dallas Turner's kind of he's been playing for 2 years, but he hasn't been the starter. It took him 2 years just to, kind of get everything down, right? So in that regard, it's proof right there. It takes some time to learn all the nuances of that spot. So for Ingram Dawkins, the more you can do, that's awesome for him. And again, he looked a lot better out there on the edge in being able, with keep and contain and doing those things against Baltimore than he did against New York.
So the third edge, which was occupied by Dallas Turner last year, it's a very important spot. Tyler Batty, I thought, improved from week 1 to week 2. He looks faster this year. We've talked about Ingram Dawkins. Chaz Chambliss, Bo Richter, they're in the mix. Golday can be a mixer outside and inside. What do you think of that important third edge spot?
Yeah, that'll be that. That might be the spot where when the cuts come and everything else, that they may bring in somebody a veteran status. We'll see. But I think once you get past Dallas Turner and Andrew Van Ginkel, you're really getting into guys that either play the run or play the pass better, right? You know what I mean? They're more kind of a role player. You got Ingram Dawkins, you can move out there. He's going to be great against the run. I think Bo Richter's done a very good job against the run. He's had some good pass rushes too. Same thing with Tyler Batty. So, and then Jake Golday has been very impressive with where they want to move him around. So if you want a blitzer or a guy who's going to play more in space, then, like Van Ginkel, kind of, he fit that role, I think, a little bit more. So you don't have an heir apparent, obvious number 3 guy. And can you kind of conglomerate and get a group, 2 or 3 different guys to fulfill that number 3 position, or do you feel like you need to go out and get somebody? And I think that's going to be the question as this regular season ends. And so for guys like Batty and Richter and Jake Golday, I mean, these preseason games are all incredibly important, so they could cement themselves and say, nope, we don't need a veteran. You got what you need right here.
What do you think of Golday from what you've seen at camp or seen in the games?
I've been very impressed, very, very impressed. And against Baltimore in the combined practices, he had a couple big hits. And I think, again, talking to Mike Saravo and some of the coaches, they all think he's accepting the role. He's playing different roles. They're asking him to do a whole lot. And it's the physicality. If he can be a physical linebacker and then a physical pass rusher, then I think the sky's the limit with this kid. But he has the speed, great open field tackles, on Saturday. So I've been very impressed. And the mental load that he's carrying is big. I mean, they're asking him mentally to do quite a bit, and he's fit in nicely. So, and that was a big surprise with him. Is he started as a defensive end at Central Arkansas. He was a basketball player. Central Arkansas was the only place that gave him a place to play, and then eventually they moved him to linebacker. He goes to Cincinnati, plays off the ball, and looks fantastic. That doesn't happen very often. You don't find D linemen who can all of a sudden stand up and read guards and read run flow and then have a good feel for zone coverage. So in that regard, Golday is a bit of a unicorn.
It's the analyst Pete Bercich at Pete Bercich via X. This is courtesy of Sukup and Sukup.com.
Bercich. Hey, Pete, when you're trying to analyze, for instance, on Saturday, the run game, I mean, you're averaging 3 and a hook, I think, in terms of yards per carry. Damon Claiborne, you're trying to break down his 8 carries, but you kind of got to weed through an offensive line performance on Saturday, Pete, that frankly, it's a good thing this is a preseason game. So how do you kind of weed your way through that muddiness that we saw from the Minnesota Moving Company and still try to extract some clean opinions in terms of Man, there was a little pop for Xavier. Hey, DeMond had this run, and I get where he's going. Excited to see that when it's going for real.
Yeah, that's the offensive side of the ball was a tough one to figure out exactly. Part of it, I think, because the starters didn't play, the injury to Caleb Tiernan, him being out, affected a lot because now you had to figure out who's going to play left tackle. They had Henry Bird out there for a while, who was playing center earlier in training camp. Joe Huber got a lot of opportunity. Walton Rouse for Sean Lee, Tristan Lee. I mean, it's like you had a lot of guys in different spots, and it kind of looked at this Baltimore defense is very, very good. Their backups in their front, is still very good, very big. But I was extremely impressed with their cornerbacks and their safeties and how well they passed routes off, their awareness, their fundamentals. That group, that second group played extremely well defensively. So the struggles on offense in that regard are part of all the moving and all those things going on, but a lot of it has to do also with a very, very good defense that was there and that was in town. So got to give some credit where credit's due. We got to figure out physically who's going to be our number 3 tight end. We got to find that guy on the edge that can block. Which one of those? Which one is it? Bartholomew, Jurasic, Nesbitt, Lang. I think maybe the best blocker of that group might make it. Bredeson's playing well, doing his thing. So yeah, there's some good in there, but the muddiness and murkiness and that feeling that you had when you walked away from that game offensively, whether it be the quarterback, the running game, the penalties, the offensive line, the wide receivers. I mean, it was a little bit us but a little bit them, and a little bit of mistakes and a little bit of good, some good plays. It was a very, it was a very up and down mishmash of football. And yeah, you don't come away with a great feeling after something like that.
Lastly, with Friday, 8:00, Denver, Empower at Mile High, final preseason game. If McCarthy is well, because he got nicked up in the Ravens game, if it's McCarthy, Wentz, Brosmer, whatever iteration of quarterbacks we see, so say McCarthy and Wentz both play. Forget the order in which they play. O'Connell 2 times has addressed the media as the conduit to the public, saying J.J. McCarthy is the number 2 quarterback on this team. Well, it has a fair amount of people all wound up because they're watching the games and thinking Carson, makes it look a little more smooth. So with that said, isn't it fair to say O'Connell and the offensive staff, no matter who the backup is 20 days from today against Green Bay, O'Connell and this staff have laid out the proverbial red carpet and done everything possible they can to pave a path for McCarthy to be number 2. Whether he takes that bull by the horns or not, I guess time will tell, Davey. But don't you agree with that they've really, really gone out of their way to try to make sure he gets that 2?
Well, he was battling for the number 1 spot for months, right? So if you lose that number 1 spot, it should be close. And if you're almost a 1, then yeah, you should absolutely be a 2. So the way things are set up, and the way things have gone with the number of snaps that he's been able to get with the ones and all the practice and the competition and the whole thing should make him better. And yeah, should make him an obvious number 2. And if he's not, well, that's something the coaches have to sit in a closed door room and go through and figure out what exactly is going on, what's happening. I do personally believe that it's imperative for McCarthy to get out there and play on Friday. I don't know how badly he's nicked up, but my point is this: it's consistency, Paul.
Yep.
Consistency. You got to be consistent. To be consistent, you got to be out there. And for him to finally get some playing time, yeah, he got beat up, he got hit a lot. Was that his fault? Not all the time, but you have to have some type of durability. Right, that's the one thing. 10 games out of a possible 35 starts over the last 2 seasons. That's the consistency question. So that leaves it with a lot. It leaves it with a lot more. Leaves you with a lot more question marks if for some reason he doesn't play Friday night.
Thanks, brother. See you Thursday at the spot, and then we'll fly to Denver. Have a good time, okay?
Beautiful. Sounds good. See you.
Pete Bercich, analyst for the KFAN Minnesota Vikings Audio Network. The name Micah Parsons came up a couple of times in that conversation. Micah Parsons had some choice words about teams in the NFC North, and over the course of a minute 50 seconds, talked about the Minnesota Vikings for about 8 seconds. Find out what that means when we return to KFAM.
You're listening live to...
Some more of those talkbacks undoubtedly coming here momentarily. Micah Parsons, game changer for the Green Bay Packers, went to social media and offered his analysis of each National Football League division. Yeah, that Micah Parsons, the one who messed up his ACL at a time that cost the Green Bay Packers from going to the Super Bowl, because if Parsons stays upright, Kraft too, but Parsons for sure, the Green Bay Packers, I believe, were going to the Super Bowl. But Micah Parsons is an elite football mind. Let's hear what he posted on social media regarding analysis of the NFC North.
And the NFC North, off rip, we're going to go Green Bay Packers number one. We were the number one team for 12 straight weeks. Do we have to finish? Yes, we do. We have to get everyone healthy, and we're going to be back on the field. We got young guys that's going to step up, and we added Zaire Franklin. He's legit. He's a dog. Big bro. Cowboy Cooper's going to step up this year. And to be honest, we got the best safety duo in the National Football League with Evan Williams and Xavier McKinney. No fly zone. And yes, I will be back, and we will be ready to dominate whoever's in front of us.
No fly zone.
And number two, I am going to go with the Chicago Bears. I think Chicago has established himself as a legit team in this league. Can Caleb Williams do it again? Can he be a great one? We don't know. Father Time will tell. Do we know what they have? We know they have one of the highest paid tackles in football, and they have a great team around them. Colston Loveland, I think he's going to be a top 5 tight end when it's all said and done. Number 3, our biggest question mark with Detroit was the injuries. They're very hurt. Kirby Joseph is hurt. We don't know what that timeline is going to look like. Brian Branch is coming back from Achilles. We don't know what that's going to look like. They lost so much on defense. We don't know what that looks like. What we do know is they have Aiden Hutchinson. He combats a lot of that. If the ball has to come out quick, he helps the team. If he's on, that team's on. And obviously, they got Jahmyr Gibbs, Jameson Williams, and Amon St. Brown, Jared Goff. They have one of the most explosive teams in football. But what is their O-line like? Ragnow is retired. Taylor Decker is not back with the team. They only have Penei Sewell. That is a big question mark on the left side. And then obviously, Minnesota Vikings. They have all the talent in the world, but last year they said J.J. McCarthy couldn't do it. Their last quarterback just won the Super Bowl. So they have their biggest question mark at that QB slot. Justin Jefferson voiced his frustrations. The team and Wayne got K1. Will it happen? We don't know. We know what they're capable of when they're on. It's about can they be on.
And the silence you hear is Lambeau Field.
The Vikings.
Yeah, I might punch him in the face.
Micah Parsons, NFC North analysis, put the Minnesota Vikings right there in last.
Yeah, he did.
Called us the Vikings. And the clip was a minute 50 and change. Spent 13 seconds on the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, it wasn't much.
Under the radar. KO. McKinney and Williams and McKinney. I mean, honestly, who needs Earl Thomas and Cam Chancellor?
And there is your dagger!
You got the no-fly zone with McKinney and Evan Williams.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a week 1 pass rush that is going to evoke memories of the Minister of Defense, Reggie White, busting off the edge, right?
He's so good.
Right. All right, Micah. Vikings right in last. The point has been made, and now we play the games. Thank heavens, 20 days from today, little preseason ditty, Friday, 8 o'clock, pregame 6, 7 o'clock for the network, 8 o'clock, Mile Get High City time, and then 20 days from today, Green Bay Packers. Talkbacks.
Hi, this is Andy from South Minneapolis. I just think with Kyler's contract that he's a lose-lose situation. If he plays poorly, then we lose. If he plays really well, then he's out of here and we can't franchise tag him. So I really don't know where to go with it. Seems like the only way we win is with a Super Bowl.
The Santa Clara strut.
From lo-fi to so-fi.
Yeah. Let me digest that for a minute.
Morning, PA.
No. It's not a lose-lose because even though they can't franchise him, well, they can sign him to a 3, 4, 5-year deal. And then what would go into K1, as Micah called him, what would go into Murray getting a deal like that? You see,
a lot of success.
That's why when I was crafting the first 30 minutes of 9 to Noon, wondering why so much vitriol toward the curly-haired kid. I mean, why does all the defense have to be super loud and the offense super loud? And I failed perhaps to recognize these are 9 to Noon listeners. This is the Elite Football Mind Covenant. So this is a group that clearly is casting its gaze forward, not just to the Green Bay game. And, Paul, you've watched Kyler. He runs. He gets hit. Sometimes he gets hurt and misses reps and misses games. So the two is important. I agree. But does that qualify as the single most polarizing, biggest Minnesota Vikings talker up to the regular season? The answer conclusively is no. You didn't want him when they drafted him, and now you think you can pay it off with all caps like you probably have the last 3 years. So it's analogous to the era because, like I laid out earlier, I got 6 things up my sleeve without trying that matter more than this talker. And with Murray, well, I mean, if he doesn't play well and he's gone, okay, then let's trade McCarthy because clearly you know that he never, ever will be able to play, right? I mean, that's people, he never, ever will be able to play. And the other quarterback, the one you want as the backup, Wentz, is near the end of his career on a 1-year deal. I mean, it all makes so much sense, right? Right? Okay.
Morning, PA. This is Pat from San Diego. I'm glad I went and saw the Preakness at Delmar yesterday instead of watching the Viking game. But I think it's going to be a great season for the Vikings this year. It may be up and down, but hopefully JJ will get his act together because we might need him as a backup if Kyle doesn't make it through the whole year. Skull Vikings from San Diego.
Yeah, Skull from San Diego. Can you go to Delmar Racecourse and retrieve the $50 win bet I lost on a Jerry Hollendorfer horse yesterday on the turf?
Why don't you put your pants back on, Slappy?
Let's make that step 1 and then move on to the next talkback.
Hey, PA. Hey, Nardo. This is Paul down in Arkansas. I just think that J.J. McCarthy still needs to be our number 2 because it's only preseason. He'll probably be a lot better during the normal regular season, and I still believe that he deserves a chance to be our QB number 2. Thanks. Have a great day.
Yeah.
What you working on?
Who?
Paul down in Arkansas.
Multitasking. You see, I can't go that far. Okay. Now, like I said Friday, all I and we have to go on is what the head coach is saying to the public and who's getting the majority of the opportunities in the joint practices and who is the first to come into these games.
Yeah.
McCarthy. Well, now let's cast the gaze the way of Green Bay. Creator runs left, gets hit the wrong way by Lucas Van Ness, has to sit out 2.5 quarters.
Yeah.
McCarthy or Wentz. It to the eye, with respect to the coach's proclamations and the rep distribution in practice, kind of like what Nordo said Friday. Looks to us like the other guy probably should be the one to come in.
Yes.
But we can't say that until the coach says it. I mean, we could say what we think,
right,
but we can't say what it will be.
Yeah,
until he flips that script.
Yeah, and just continuing that. I mean, it's kind of a good segue from the Friday chat that we had into now on a Monday, getting to see that game play out. And
lost our friendship for 7 minutes.
Oh, it was tough moments, but we battled through.
Right on the tip. No, that was terrible. I'm sorry. I apologize. I do like your hat, though. Sorry.
He needs these reps.
Accept my apology?
I accept your apology.
Yeah.
I wasn't offended by it at all.
Yeah, but I get it.
I get it.
It's terrible, actually.
I think, and again, I think it's not about the coach line, as we talked about, or anything like that. I think JJ really, really needs these reps. And that's not even, that's not a shocking or out there take. And I think that's why he gets the number 2 reps. That's why he's 2 on the depth chart. That's why he started in Saturday's game. This is really, really important stuff for him in his development. And it's kind of
agreed.
Whether it's in you,
but the coach doesn't have to loudly say,
"No,
that's my 2."
No, absolutely,
he has,
and he has. But I do believe in this. I think Kevin O'Connell and the offensive staff, the reason they've played it this way. And I guess I'll put it this way bluntly, they're begging him to show a spark.
Thank you.
The kid they drafted 10th overall, and we can go back in time, and was that a Kwesi decision and how everything that went in the pick? None of that matters. They picked the guy 10th overall, and they want this kid to be somebody. They love this kid.
Yes.
And they want him to grow and take the freaking steps.
Preach.
And it's 2nd and goal from the 3 when you throw the ball that you do to Ty Felton. And then on 4th and goal, you throw the ball that you threw to Miles Price. You just aren't taking the opportunities and flourishing with them.
Mr. Romano, the producer's hitting the A topic hard.
And so just from my standpoint, whether it's the eye test leads me down the road of it is just a more streamlined and professional operation when the old guy Carson is in the game. Just stability. Now, that's not exciting. That's not winning you a Super Bowl. Stability.
Yeah.
But in terms of runs left, gets nicked up, has to come out for the rest of a game or maybe miss portions of the next game, if not all of it, the stability looks to be, and the control looks to be in the favor of the older vet, Mr. Wentz.
But see, and I agree with all of that. However, where my mind is beginning to go is I'm wondering what Carson thinks of all of this. Okay, so if there is a gridiron cabal with some you're the 2, Kyler, you're going to start. Okay, let's just let's spend 400 precious offensive reps at the most important time of the year to raise somebody who just got here.
Yeah.
To appease the feelings of the curly-haired kid. Boy, that sounds really pragmatic, doesn't it? That's special. That's just how you raise a Super Bowl champion.
I do.
That's so stupid.
It's preposterous. And I love the comments you were reading from Alex Post in classic Alec fashion. I think it was like "holy cow" or something.
Yeah.
Exclaiming what he saw on that 4th down pass, and it's like media bias. And when the decision was made that Kyler was officially the one, the media, you've been lying to us for months and those sorts of things. Again, every step of the way, the coach and the offensive staff have been doing anything and everything they can to say, hey, number 9, man, take a step. Show us that you grew up in the offseason. Show us that the throwing and the mechanics and the work you put out west, that is going to put you in a spot to be better in 2026. Show us something, buddy. Come on. Hit that throw. Ooh, the deep one to Ty Felton. Here we go. Let's build some momentum for number 9. Let's get him rolling. And then it ends disastrously. The coach himself.
Alec didn't tweet about the 50 to Ty.
I might punch him in the face.
Yeah, just forgot that one, didn't you, YA?
Just super negative media. That's Alec Lewis. When I think about negativity and bitterness, I think about Alec Lewis. There's no doubt.
Let me reread this, okay? This was from an hour and 15, 20 minutes ago when we started the show. 12:25 p.m. Saturday, McCarthy to Price. At Alec_Lewis tweets, holy cow. J.J. McCarthy misses a wide-open Miles Price on 4th and 1. Just way too high and hot. Same on the Ty Felton 2 plays earlier. 109 comments and 47,000 views later. I mean, this sucker is hot if you look at those comments.
It absolutely is. And I just, from the way that the coach has brought us down this road, they've just, come on, man, you can do this. You can do this, number 9. And then in the end, by the way, the full J.J. McCarthy experience, sadly, it ends with him not being able to finish the number of reps that the coach had planned for him because he got nicked up in the game. And the coach mentioned that after the game. We'd intended to get some more, but out of precaution, safety for JJ, it's the preseason, we're going to put him on the shelf. So frustrating, clearly, with the Rubes. I totally understand it, though, in the end. Just going back to, you draft a guy 10th overall, nature of the franchise, nature of the position with the franchise.
Yeah.
We want this kid to be something, and it can be vitriolic. I hate the negative stuff.
Right.
But I think most of this stuff boils down to, we really, really want this kid to succeed. We want everybody in some ways. It's like standing behind the guy at the urinal who's got stage fright.
Oh, geez.
We want you to go.
Right.
We want you. We're cheering for you, and it just ain't freaking working.
Those 3 minutes I'm at the urinal.
Yeah.
It's not stage fright.
If I stood behind you and cheered you on, would you be okay with that?
No, and you know why. Okay, so we're even off the tip joke. Because that's what you and I do. We try to tit for tat each other right to the ground.
Yeah, tip for tat.
Check your watch and tell me what time it is.
10:48.
Now peek your head out and tell me what the climate is.
About to get hot in here with News Due North and Dane Mizutani in studio 15 minutes from now.
This is 9 to noon on The Fan. For 1 day only, earn 20 cents fuel saver for every $40 you spend at Hy-Vee.
It's News to Nord, 9 to noon, brought to you by The Casino at Canterbury Park, CanterburyPark.com. I mean, oh my goodness, just get to the website, because whether you're feeling the felt and it's poker, blackjack, and table games all year long, you're having sips at chips and you're tipping Derek Allen, you got the live racing season in play. You're kind of getting the point here. There's so much to do at Canterbury. How about elite music opportunities almost every night, it feels like, at the amphitheater? So the website's the best place to go and get organized that way, CanterburyPark.com. Speaking of getting organized, one good sweep feeling into this weekend. The Braves go 0-3 at Target Field. Well, we got to keep that heat going on the road at San Diego, and man, it was awful.
And Tatis swings, hits it in the air, deep to left center field. Rodin is back. This one gonna go. Number 2 for Fernando on the day. A line drive homer to left center field.
Yeah, you felt good when Brooks Lee tied that thing up in the 5th. But it was Tatis Jr. Who homered in both the 3rd and then again in the 8th. A little exclamation point for the 8-1 final. Twins are swept. And what a difference a weekend makes. That's why we opened that Thursday show celebrating the Twins being a playoff team. And then just 3 games later, they're now 2 games south and are back to, okay, well, you got a hop, skip, and a jump. Oh, you got the Blue Jays in front of you, the Guardians, we know that. The Rangers with a losing record being a playoff team. Man, it is just a mediocre American League in 2026. But next up, for the Minnesota Twins, an opportunity here as they head to Vegas, they head to the Athletics, and they'll be there for 3 at Zebby, Taj Bradley, and Prelip on the mound over the next 3 today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. And then a big one, they come home over the weekend. Really 2 big series ahead, both the White Sox and the Detroit Tigers in town starting Friday evening. So look forward to that. This is kind of interesting in the NFL. So the Cleveland Browns, man, we've spent most of the show talking about quarterback situations regarding J.J. McCarthy and the Minnesota Vikings, and we want our 10th overall pick to work out. And just the history of that going backwards. I don't need to remind you of that. And I probably don't need to remind you that for a long time, whenever we think about our quarterback situation, it's been easy to just look at the Cleveland Browns and laugh and make ourselves feel better. Well, they are opening the season with Deshaun Watson. That has been announced. But I found some audio over the weekend maybe you listeners could have an opinion on, whether it's a talkback or a text. Deshaun Watson was asked about being booed by fans, and here's a little back and forth with the media.
Man, I didn't have no reaction. I think the biggest thing is I think you guys know too, and I think the whole world knows, it has nothing to do about the performance. It's a little bit personal than that. So I think that's it's a disrespectful thing. So Yeah, I mean, I'm going to keep whatever I feel with me and my family internally on how I feel about that. And, yeah, just move on.
But don't you think, Deshaun, that winning and playing better would eliminate some of that booing?
Last time I played on this field, I tore my Achilles. And that same fan base, they cheered when I got hurt. So does that have to do with, what does that have to do with anything about performance? When a person get hurt, especially for your own city, and they cheer.
Does any of that make you
Wow, from Deshaun Watson. Mad that he's getting booed. Maybe self-awareness in relation to the money, the lack of productivity, the off-field stuff, and all of that coming together. A strained relationship between Mr. Watson and the Cleveland Browns fan base. But I think the good news for all parties involved, potentially, the 31-year-old, I believe this is the final year of his deal. He becomes an unrestricted free agent in 2027. So good, I suppose, for all those involved. Now, lastly, in former Vikings-related news, and then we're going to pause. And you remember Daniel Carlson? I believe it may have been it was the 2018 season. And there was a tie at Lambeau. There was some missed field goals in the mix. And we said sayonara we said goodbye to Daniel Carlson, a rookie. Zimmer had seen enough, just like Kellen Mond. Ended up having a nice little run with the Las Vegas Raiders. Well, the battery of special teams for the Saints is now going to include 2 former members of the Vikings. The plus-size punter Ryan Wright will be handling the punting for said Saints. And they have now signed free agent kicker Daniel Carlson to the mix down there. So former All-Pro and now no longer with the Raiders. He's on the shelf. Daniel Carlson, after 2 L's, Tanner Brown and Charlie Smith apparently were both hideous. So Daniel Carlson joins the New Orleans Saints. And that's all I got. News to Nord brought to you by The Casino at Canterbury Park, CanterburyPark.com.
Dane Mizutani, who covers the Minnesota Vikings for the Pioneer Press and TwinCities.com. He'll join us in studio next. This is 9 to noon.
This is PA on iHeartRadio and KFAN The